So welcome everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today's webinar. My name is Samir Aliyev and I'm CEO at the Civil Cyber Forum. And today we are going to present you our next webinar, which is Diversity in Cybersecurity. We have a very special guest from Zurich, who is Elcin Biren. She will introduce herself later on. The research shows that more diverse teams are higher performing when compared to the other teams. But today, only 11% of the cybersecurity professionals are women. This gender diversity, coupled with the cybersecurity skills shortage, offers women a valuable career opportunity and gives organizations a means for filling the skills gaps that currently plagues with industry. So therefore, we decided to present you our next webinar on this topic. And today we will talk a little bit on career changing for gender diversity. We will talk about the challenges and of course, the solutions. Today we have guest, as I told you, Elcin Biren. She is an associate director at UBS, Chief Information Security Officer. Just a little bit housekeeping before we get started. If you have any question during the presentation, please type them into the question box on the bottom of the Zoom window. You will see the Q&A button there. Then we will answer all your questions later on. First, Elcin will introduce her presentation, around 45 minutes. Then we will introduce you our newly launched cybersecurity training program in Zurich online. Then last 10 minutes, we will use it for Q&A session. Elcin, thank you very much for being us and having your time. And please, it's your time. Start with your presentation and welcome to our attendees and participants.
Hi, everyone. So this is Elcin here. I'm an industrial engineer. Since 2006, I have had the privilege to work in cybersecurity field, serving both technically and strategically. I have volunteered in global cyber communities where I focus on the diversity topic and inspire young girls and women to enroll into our industry. And let me share here is the outlook for today. And Samir already told us the housekeeping rules. We will take the questions right at the end in the Q&A session, and the presentation will be recorded and shared after the call, so please just enjoy. As the internet became the nerve system of the humanity, in an age of ongoing digital transformation, cybercrime has quickly become today's fastest growing form of criminal activity. Every second, 56 records are compromised. Hackers attack every 39 seconds on average 2,244 times a day, according to a study done by University of Maryland. By 2021, cybercrime damage costs could hit $6 trillion annually, according to a report by Cybersecurity Ventures. Cyber attacks on big companies dominate the news, but small companies are big targets too. The Panama Institute reports that 76% of SMBs suffered a cyber attack in 2019, last year. It was 14% in 2017. Most small business owners don't have a plan for response if they are hit. That's why 60% go out of business in 6 months of a falling victim to a data breach or cyber attack. They shut their doors. On the other hand, IBM reported that the average time to identify a breach in 2019 was 7 months. From the breach to containment lasted almost 11 months. Social engineering attacks, which are the act of manipulating people psychologically, are becoming more and more sophisticated and difficult to detect with the security tools. So there must always be a human defense element as well, a so-called human firewall. Consequently, the risk challenges for organizations grow more complex. Regulatory fines, legal damage, loss of trust, and reputation damage are becoming part of the equation. And cyber criminals are opportunistic. Cybercrime as a service stronger than ever. So their dream came true now. The threat surface has never been wider. More than tens of billions of devices are connected now. There was an article in Forbes last week which said cyber threats related to COVID-19 gone up 600% from February to March. So now we all have some gloomy stats and depressing numbers. I want you to take a second and think about what is the biggest threat waiting for us. Okay, so has everyone picked their biggest threat?
I'm sure.
So let me, yeah. Because the biggest threat turns out to be the work shortage in cybersecurity. In fact, 3.5 million jobs are expected to remain unfilled by 2021. In other words, 70% of responders say that cybersecurity teams are understaffed. 56% indicate their organizations have unfilled cybersecurity positions. 32% report it takes 6 months or more to fill cybersecurity jobs at their organization, according to ISACA's last year, the State of Cybersecurity report. Nothing is bad though. We will have jobs for next 50 years and there's zero unemployment rate. That's why you will be hearing from me a lot today, encouraging women and those from diverse professional or educational backgrounds to pursue careers in this field will be a key factor in staying ahead of the threat landscape. So let's zoom into how it would look like for those highly skilled people. I think the slides are. Could you please, yeah. When it comes to cybersecurity, many people picture a young guy in a hoodie sits in front of a computer screen when you have a waterfall of matrix-like codes, you know, series of zeros and ones. Well, I'm afraid it's not. Security doesn't require magical abilities or qualifications or a hoodie. This field is for anyone who is intellectually curious, willing to think unconventionally. With such a variety of roles and positions, there is an equally large set of knowledge, skills, and abilities required to suit various positions. And each field of expertise naturally has its own requirements. We see multiple skill sets, from pen testers, security auditors, analysts, and compliance officers, to system engineers, developers, risk consultants, policymakers, and incident responders. We need people with deep analytical skills so they can spot anomalies and non-compliance issues. We also need good communicators so that we can drive collaboration. And we need creative thinkers so that we can solve problems. In fact, let me share with you, how coincidentally I got my first footprint in the industry. A large conglomerate hired me because they saw my curiosity about the computers, and I learned many things on the job. Unlike your expectations, I had colleagues with very different academic degrees, for an example, law, finance, linguistic, teaching, science, so forth. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you is that not everyone in cybersecurity field hold a computer engineering degree, since it involves a lot of other skills like communication, leadership, management, and psychology, and many of which makes women ideal candidates. And the other key pillars for a security professional are the following: being ethical, respecting confidentiality, keeping your integrity. And as a cyber evolves, we need science, technology, engineering, mathematics to promote STEAM. A stands for arts. The arts allow us to receive new ways to draw connections and help to stimulate innovation in new cybersecurity products or services. This is an important skill. If you take a closer look at the term hack, you very quickly discover that hacking is an artistic way of dealing with a computer. So actually, hackers are artists, and some artists also happen to be hackers. They both are creative, persistent, resourceful, and innovative because they're able to push the boundaries. Why does security still has an identity problem, even there are a lot of opportunities? The reason behind this, poor marketing and HR. It's viewed as being incredibly technical, yet it's actually very interdisciplinary and diverse. Given cybersecurity's roots in high security military operations, it's no wonder that the use of heavy military language and a male-dominated culture persists. Women have hard times imagining themselves in this type of culture. Therefore, very few of us pursue careers in it. Studies show that women's formative experiences, teachers, parents, and mentors may consciously or unconsciously steer them away from fields seen as more masculine. In fact, they unintentionally decrease the future talent pool. Later, gender bias of predominantly male hiring managers often confront women looking to enter the field. Perceptions and myths of work-life balance also drive women away. Having said that, I never believe in work-life balance because sometimes the business needs to be a priority and at times the family or personal life. What I believe in is a harmonious life, which is more entrepreneurial mindset that has no clear cuts. Everything is inextricable. This approach helps me to be happier, more effective. In addition to that, many roles offer flexible working hours and remote working conditions, which are suitable for parenting. When I was pregnant to my second child, I was able to work the last months from home. Before jumping to the next slide, the good news is that there are a lot of improvements going on, especially on the recruitment side in general. For example, women words are used more often than they used to be in job descriptions. Having at least one female recruiter in the room, shortlisted at least 2 women candidates, if you can find, and so forth. And cyber recruiters need to map unconventional career paths and understand that if you are driven and passionate about cybersecurity, you can come from any background. Gender diversity in general is an issue in tech, and women are particularly underrepresented. For example, on an average 24% in cybersecurity generic jobs, and roughly 11% more deep down technical roles. Our parents make decisions early on about what boys and girls should be doing. The social conditioning starts really early. But when you look at standardized tests, SAT scores, girls are scoring just as well as boys in math and science. In some cases, they are actually doing better. The question isn't about competence. It's an issue of decision-making about what to pursue. Women have to see that there is something that's much bigger here. This is an entire career. In fact, I will argue that this is one of the only professions that has almost every job within it, says IBM CISO Shamlan Adu. The way how women see risk and attack problems are different to men. Hence, we complement each other nicely. That's why it's crucial to explain the word, what Jane Franklin in her book called Insecurity says. If you are short of women, you are less safe. As cybercrime, cyber terrorism, and cyber warfare are increasing, and the number of women in cybersecurity is declining, now is high time to take action before it's too late. We need people with different backgrounds because the people we are combating, whatever you call them, threat actors, hackers, bad guys, also have wide variety of backgrounds and experiences. The wider variety of people and experience we have defending our networks, the greater chance we have to succeed. Diverse teams drive innovation, whereas homogeneous just can't. Before we analyze my theory, I would like to share my personal history. When asked what my occupation is, and when I respond as I'm a cybersecurity professional, and this always surprises people. In the beginning, I really liked it. I enjoyed it to do something niche and cool. However, something was always wrong and missing. It took me so long, in fact, many years to discover the problem. I started my cybersecurity adventure in 2006 when I was in my early 20s, and I was responsible to audit all the topics in ISO 27001 and COBIT and perform pen testing about 15 to 20 companies annually. Every month I was taking new trainings and implementing things that I learned to my daily job. The results were outstanding. My findings took a lot of attention as it really scared board members. I restructured and created the holding policies, procedures for IT departments, giving awareness trainings. I had privilege to attend board members' global meetings in ISACA when I was only 25 years old. Instead of boosting my confidence, especially during the trainings, I felt so uncomfortable. I was very young with title-rich responsibilities. I had the invisible pressure to know better than all the men in the classroom. I was always the one and only woman in the trainings. I was working in a field which was my passion. I fell in love with cybersecurity in first sight, but I think it was my platonic. Never felt like ever being accepted. Then I noticed I was an outsider, and my mind whispered to me that I don't fit in, as I'm not a stereotype of cybersecurity expert or an ethical hacker. Once I confessed this to myself, then after doing a lot of research, I have noticed that actually I was totally normal and I was not alone. There are hundreds and thousands of women feeling the same, and they don't survive where they are minority. I had an opposite impact after noticing the issue. I decided to share my experience to influence women. And becoming a mom was an awakening moment, which made me realize how motherhood and women's skill set could make a difference in cybersecurity. So let's dive into my theory. Protective nurture. By birth, women are coded to protect people. It's just a shame the big majority haven't yet realized that cybersecurity is in its core all about protecting people from harm. Hence, I strongly believe if they would have discovered it at an early age, we would see an influx of women in the cybersecurity field. Risk assessment. Women matter in cybersecurity because of the way they view and deal with risk. Typically, women are more risk averse, compliant with rules, embracing of organizational controls and technology than men, again from book and security. Curiosity. This is one of the most important soft skill in cybersecurity, to think like a hacker and asking what would happen if questions. Like, what if I logged in as user A, if I try to access the details for user B, what should happen? Or try stuff in a way that developers don't expect. And curiosity provides you a platform for a never-ending learning. Women are naturally curious creatures. We love to know all the details. And to my experience, there are two types of men, curious and incurious. But I know only one type of woman, simply curious. Actually, that's why women can excel in the forensics or investigation or implementing security policies and problem solving. Women take the big picture approach to solving problems in their work. That's something that uniquely makes the woman successful. Let's see the science behind it. The brain is divided into two hemispheres. Right brain, which uses more creative and intuitive thoughts, and the left brain, which is linear and logical thinking. They are connected by something called corpus callosum. Some interesting differences between men and women. Corpus callosum is 25% larger than men's. This means that women can bounce back and forth between feelings and facts very easily. In other words, men thinking straight lines, whereas woman is thinking webs constantly connecting ideas. Women are incredibly good at holistic thinking, contextualizing idea and drawing new connections and factors. Men's linear thinking is not worse or better than women's web thinking. We should leverage the differences. Women offer a sometimes complementary, sometimes contrarian point of view in the discussions, which drives much wider and deeper perspective. Collaborative and organizer. Harvard Business Review studies have shown that women are more likely to care for the collective, which means they are more likely to step in when they see a gap or ambiguity, which is so important to help people to get things done in a short time during the incident response. And resilient. As it's pointed out in the book, The Fate of Gender, when men and women are subject to harsh conditions, it's the women who live longer. Calmer. Women are extremely intuitive and also score highly when it comes to emotional and social intelligence, which enables them to remain calm during times of turbulence. COVID-19 was an amazing example of how women leaders manage the crisis. Being resilient and calm, both skills are required when major security breaches and incidents occur. Communication and negotiation skills. As a mother, you are constantly mentoring, teaching, and counseling your children, or vice versa. My kids are teaching me every day how to persuade and listen better. For sure, mothers are the best translators in most of the families when there is a conflict. Translating the technical language to all different stakeholders in order to mitigate the risk, which is a game changer skill, and women can excel here. And I also had artistic aesthetic thinking because it gives us a support to think innovative, even though we don't like to take risks like men. The above qualifications matter. Only having high technical scores, techie, can't make you a great problem solver, communicator, or a creative thinker. And women have been working in cybersecurity for a century. During the Second World War, the United States employed 10,000 women as code girls to decipher encrypted messages sent by Japanese and Germans. Likewise, the United Kingdom hired more than 7,000 women to work at Bletchley Park. It's the Center for Cryptanalysis, where they made up about 3/4 of the workforce. Encryption methods for signaling to torpedoes, that's now the basis of Wi-Fi and Bluetooth technology, patented by women. Actually, she is the famous actress Hedy Lamarr, who is the Angelina Jolie of 1940s. She broke international spy rings, decoded 3 Nazi Enigma machines, and contributed to the early work of the forerunner to the CIA. Women developed the first programming language, methods to detect intrusions into computer systems, and network bridges between communication centers. Women were calculating weapon trajectories by hand. They put men in the moon by calculating the aeronautical trajectories, which we saw in the movie Hidden Figures. Good and sad news is that the proportion of women in computer science only grew up to the mid-1980s to almost 37%. And I would like to show these role models to the young girls to inspire them. Okay, isn't it interesting? You see the Lobster? Yeah, although there are career opportunities, there are also big roadblocks for women to get in and stay in this field. At this point, I would like to share with you an analogy. The lobster. It has a soft, mushy creature that protects itself from predators by encasing itself with a rigid shell. Once a year, when its shell becomes too restrictive and painful because it's expanding, the lobster makes for a rock formation, hides from predators, remains there until it grows a new one, a few sizes larger. When it emerges, its shell soft and offers little protection, as it takes a while for it to harden. At that moment, the lobster is vulnerable, yet this pattern is repeated indefinitely in lifetime span. The story of the lobster is relevant, for it can teach us many things in regards to retaining women in cybersecurity, particularly in regards to continual growth in the face of adversity, pain. The lobster cannot change the way it has been made. It has to accept this. It grows only because of pain, driven by discomfort, which is too much to bear. It can't go to a doctor, nor can it self-medicate. Yeah, women in cybersecurity, obviously not Lobster, says Franklin, the CISO advisor, but she believes we need to be encouraged to embrace discomfort in order to fully develop our careers. To grow, and that requires taking action, having self-belief and courage. I would like to remind you as well that it is vital for women to understand this is not a suffering pain, but is rather a growing pain. So we should bear with it. So what does the future hold for us? Cybersecurity is a journey which is becoming long-term business strategy. IDC's recent CEO survey shows that digital trust programs will be one of the highest priorities for CEOs over the next 5 years. In order to make security a strategic component in the workplace, in my opinion, we need new trends to cultivate the security culture, because this is our shared responsibility. We need to shift the mindset from cybersecurity only concerns security teams to everybody is responsible for security. Because cybersecurity is not only about technical skill, it is about the knowledge of the organization. And technology is only good as the people who are using it. Developing a strong security culture in the society with the new trends are also key, because our lives are getting more digital with 5G and IoT devices, and we need to embrace security, not fear it. That's why our world calls for security, cybersecurity heroes, champions, ambassadors. Security ambassadors are a network of volunteers embedded throughout your organization who help you spread the word by only sparing 3-4 hours per month of their time. In doing so, you start cultivating the hacker mindset inside your organizations. Not only can it change the way employees lead better security across the entire organization, but it also has a hidden benefit of helping your workforce become more curious and resourceful. These skills actually are very important for the future workspace. Consequently, we create a strong security culture in the organization and hopefully in the society for a better future. And obviously, for a safer and better society, we need to address the gender diversity problem now, before it's too late. Women's cortisol level is 2 times higher than men at work, men's at work, 4 times higher at home. When women are able to collaborate at work, when women aren't able to collaborate at work, or there is not enough time to attend to personal life events and needs, they do not produce oxytocin, and that makes it difficult for them to recover from stress. Women are prone to burnout or suffer from depression more likely than men. And both genders recover from stress differently. Men need time to help them to process, and on the contrary, women need someone to help them to process. In this stage, mentoring becomes ever so important. With employer support, women can thrive by connecting with female and male mentors, changing how they process negative emotions and momentarily step back from a problem to rethink it. And sometimes your mentors could be out of your network. Like, for an example, Barbara Marx Hubbard, she's one of my favorite futurists of all times, whom I hadn't met personally. Hubbard says, if you feel depressed or lost, to say, good. Instead of telling yourself something is wrong with me, say you are getting an impulse from inside which makes you uncomfortable, because there is more. Depression means here is more to be expressed. There is something inside of you wants to come forward, and it signals you by pain, depression, or stress. We need encouragement from each other to find out what needs to come out. And we also need networking to show each other the opportunities. That's why I'm engaging with many different organizations worldwide to support the women by inviting them to cybersecurity. This was actually my personal experience, so I hope you can relate to it. So please, please go out and network. Networking is very important to grow personally, professionally. I'm a mentor and I'm a mentee. I have mentors unofficially and officially. I'm getting incredible benefits of it. Highly recommended. We can solve the gender diversity problem by attracting more young girls and parents to educate them on the opportunities in the technology space. This is a future-proof, well-paid, and dynamic industry with a creative international community of professionals. I am so passionate about cybersecurity. I believe that this is contagious. There is a cybersecurity career waiting for every girl and woman who wants one. I get a lot of messages from LinkedIn on how to tap into cybersecurity. So I'm going to share with you some very general advices in order to kickstart your cybersecurity journey. First of all, you need to design a strategy for how you will set aside 15% of your time to pursue your passion, which is approximately 1 hour a day. Or you can spend a little bit more than a half day during your weekend, says Steve Kotler, who is the author and known as one of the world's leading experts on ultimate human performance. And I advise start reading books, articles, news, and even watching movies, TV series about cyber. Regardless of which role you choose, my advice in order to understand how a hacker mindset works, it is worth taking at least a couple of hours ethical hacking training. And then perform a research about cybersecurity roles and the roles expectations, writing down your skill set and the roles that you're interested in, and find the intersection. Talk to experts about the roles that you're interested in. Don't worry, people love to talk about themselves. I'm sure you find a lot of candidates who wants to tell you their stories. And then highlight the gaps. Define the short-term and long-term career goals. The next and important step is search for relevant certification. Design your certification path. Don't forget to join hackathons. Now that you have a plan and you are ready to dive into cyber career, do not hesitate to reach out to me on LinkedIn. I know there are different dependencies according to your current situation. It needs to be a tailor-made. The above recommendations just you to warm up and get some insights. As I said before I'm just handing over to Samir, there is a huge opportunity for women as we are hard-coded by birth with the necessary skill sets, which makes us a great cybersecurity executives. The challenge here is to bring out what is hidden in our DNA, cultivating it, encouraging it, and working hard on it together so that we can build an army of natural-born skilled women cybersecurity specialists who would protect the well-being of our society. I hope that will inspire you or someone you know, or you start to think about hiring a woman in cybersecurity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elcin. It was really very inspirational presentation. First time I have also listening, and I was also thinking about the power of the women in cybersecurity and technology, and they show us that there's huge, huge potential in the future for the gender diversity, for women in business, women in technology, also in cybersecurity. And today we have some decision makers and the C-level executives on our participants list, and I'm sure they will think twice when they launch their new position, and they will talk their HR department regarding to this topic. So before we are going to the Q&A session, I would like to introduce you the newly launched the cybersecurity course in Zurich at the Civil Cyber Forum, which is kindly relevant to your topic, Elcin. As you mentioned, that people, they have to get a certification, they have to attend to hackathons, and they have to think as a hackers. So the Swiss State Secretary for Higher Education, Innovation and Research, they launched newly a federal diploma examination 2 years ago, which is for cybersecurity specialists. That means that in Switzerland, you can get the certification from the Swiss government, then you can work as a cybersecurity specialist in any branch or any industry in Switzerland. Therefore, the people or the candidates, they have to get some preparatory course. And those courses are provided by private companies. One of them is Civil Cyber Forum, and we just launched our course this month, which is there are different names, also the official names of this position. This is totally new examination. First examination will be in this year in November, and it will repeat itself every November in every year. That means that once a year there will be examination. If you pass the examination, you will have the federal diploma from State Secretary, and it will help you to find or to advance your career in cybersecurity. But what we offer with our course, we designed our training based on the requirements from Swiss government, what we have to learn, teach to the people, and this education is online education, e-learning, plus virtual classroom. Our training designers are internationally recognized cybersecurity experts, also academics, professors from US, from Europe and Switzerland. That means that this program will prepare you for federal examination with all the challenges, cybersecurity challenges. We have over 50 challenges that you can enjoy anytime, anywhere with your computer to solve the solutions to prepare yourself for the examination. So, as I mentioned, it's online course and you can learn anytime, anywhere in Switzerland. You don't need to speak specific language, just the English is enough. First part of the examination will be in English, which is the hacking lab. You will receive the challenges, it will be in English, and in the most important part, therefore our course is in English. It doesn't matter if you live in Tessin or Geneva or Basel or Bern, you can join this course anywhere. And as I mentioned, we have over 50 challenges for you. Within 1 year, it will take for you 2 semesters, 1 year to prepare yourself for the examination. This is also a requirement from Swiss government that the people, they have to get preparation period at least 2 or 3 semesters, 12 or 18 months. And we are also going to help you before you jump, advance your career. We have special tools for pre-hiring screening, for HR departments, for the companies that we can work together with you. We can pre-screen your skills in cybersecurity through the challenges, online challenges, and they give you some certificate or report based on the screening. This is AI-based screening, and that will help you to prove that you are able to work as a SOC expert or cybersecurity engineer. What is good for these courses? All these courses are funded by Swiss government. That means that you will get 50% back from your the course fee, which you pay to the organization's course providers. And Swiss Cyber Forum is education partner at ICT Berufsbildung Schweiz, and we are also a recognized course provider in Switzerland. And our next course will start 2nd of November, which will take 2 years and 2 semesters. It will prepare you for the examination 2021. And next one will start in May, will prepare you for year 2022. It is total 520 hours learning. That seems a lot, but within 1 year, you just need to invest 12, 13 hours per week, and it's mainly online. Once a week, there will be virtual classroom with different academics from different industries and different countries. and our cost is here, and you will get 50% once you take the examination. You will get 50% of your payment. What you will be after this course or this training the program, you can work as an ICT or cybersecurity operations manager or cybersecurity incident manager. Also, you can work as a cybersecurity engineer, which is allowed by Swiss government after taking this course and the examination. And this will prepare you to also work to manage the teams, the cybersecurity teams, to follow up the rules and the policies and process and communicate yourself with the C-level management. This course also prepare you with soft skills for cybersecurity management. For more information also, you can visit our webpage. And before we go to Q&A session, I would like to ask you to send your question on the Q&A button, that we can have not a monologue, we can have a dialogue with you, with our audience, and it will be our pleasure to answer your question, either Elcin or me. Elcin, we have a first question, and I think this is for you. I'm going to make a question for you. Can you speak the diverse of the backgrounds? For example, my background is in education, where I taught English and technology, and I recently completed a JavaScript bootcamp. What would you be the path someone like me could pursue into cybersecurity?
So it's a teaching background, and with also, I think, already in JavaScript, so already in IT, not really non-IT. So it's, as I say, there is also, it's the, once you specialize in cybersecurity, spend for years doing, this kind of specification. So you need to understand the first roles that, so you can, for example, if you have the teaching gives you a lot of communication skills, and also on the other side, if you're IT, some scripts, you can also use this, and you can just go into the audit sites to use this kind of, to, for example, to see the bugs, on to check the flows in the codes, or even the you need to take, by taking some ISO standards certifications, you can start with the auditing for specific regulations, because in audits we need a lot of communications and writing skills, and I think you might already have it. And also it's really depending on other your interests, because this fields, for example, I cannot really know that if you're interested on the incident response or very detailed, if you're very detail oriented, so you can also do this kind of incident response thing. So it's and I cannot, oh yeah, okay, let me check the questions now, I can see. Yeah, so yeah, no, so I see now. Yeah, definitely. This is the, I think it could be a good option, because also I think programming skills also important here you can also use. And now, and I just suggest you to continue. I can share also with you later on the links that there's amazing links. Cisco just they interview with many people in the IT security field, and after that they just gather all the information in one link, and you can really see the response from the people who are working for each and every role. So I can send it out to you, Alma.
Thank you very much, Elcin. The next question is about literature. Would you please recommend some literature on how hackers think and work? So
I started actually reading Kevin Mitnick books. Yeah, The Art of Deception and Ghost and the Fire. So that time, that books was actually, that time, I think it was almost 14 years ago. We don't have a lot of options. And still, I think one of the best, to understand the social engineering, to start to understand how the hacker mindset. I think this kind of books, and it gives you also some insights, you know, and also gives you that how the soft skills are important, how understanding human behavior is important. Because you need to combine this with the technical. Only being technical, only learning technical, I think it's not really helping us to be successful in cybersecurity. You need to really be very diverse, also think more wider, and you need to also, if you are very technical, you need to also improve your soft skills. So, and back to questions, yeah, there are a lot of books currently. From Brian Krebs, I think it's amazing books. So a lot of blogs. I can share with you all these resources later on after the presentation. Yeah, but who asked the question? Because I didn't see this question. Is it Stephanie? No.
It's here. I can share the list later on the questions.
Okay, okay.
We cannot announce the names because of the privacy, but I will share the names later on with you. So I would also suggest that recently I'm reading one book, The Psychology of the Cyber Criminals. It is really helpful to understand from other part of the world, what they are thinking, what their motivations. If you Google it, you will find The Psychology of the Cyber Criminals, you will find the book. And you just mentioned, Elcin, that Kevin Mitnick. I would say that next year we are going to organize the first International Cybersecurity Conference in Zurich. And Kevin Mitnick, first time he will come to Zurich, he will talk on the stage and he will do live hacking on the stage next year.
Yeah.
In October.
I'm very excited to be on the same stage with him, actually.
You will
yeah, to be more, yeah.
Conference. The next question is about women being in cybersecurity. It's so I'm one of these women with skills and unusual career paths who would love to work in cybersecurity. But looking at the job opening is depressing, as they all want experience or degree, cybersecurity degree. How do I learn more about the different positions that might be matched for me? Also, is there any cybersecurity mentorship program for women in Switzerland?
Actually, this is an amazing question. That's why the HR recruiters, they need to understand the importance of the skill set for these roles. And even, you know, some roles that I was working on for many years, they took me from internally. If I see the job description on the market, maybe even I didn't, you know, apply for them. They were really, so what but in that stage to, you know, maybe we don't have power to change them quickly. So what I recommend is just write your interest, you know, in the cover letter. That's why we have cover letters. And I think it's very, you can write very powerful cover letter that why you're interested. If you really know the jobs that you're interested in, and if you can really link the skill set you have, I think it can be a good start. And then directly finding the hiring manager to discuss with them why we need to also, unfortunately, but we need to train also the recruiters, because they really see that it's the only technical things. And I and many of my colleagues, we learn things on the job. This is also, I think it's like a vicious cycle, because the many certifications, for example, CIS, SBC, so you need to have an experience to take these certifications. But some certifications like now you're offering, actually, it's interesting, but you still need the basic IT skills. That's why when I recommend it, you really set a time for yourself to just build some IT skills, because, you know, you can be the risk control specialist and you don't need to hack anymore. You don't need to know hack skill. You don't need to have the details of how laterally move with it, you know, all the technical things. So or some skill sets also even I had, and then I replace it with the other ones. I haven't, you know, using coding for many years, but now I want to go back and I'm learning again, because, you know, I have other motivations, maybe not for my daily job, because it's now, I mean, I think everyone should know a little bit of coding. So it's like you need to I really encourage you to understand what you have, your all skill set, and it's a work. And before any mentorship program, I think the first thing, and I did also with my mentors and with my mentees, so this is the first thing you start. What is your all skill set and qualifications? And then, you know, when you start matching, you will see it's an interesting exercise. I really recommend you to start with that.
Thank you very much, Elcin. And another question is, hello, I would like to know the condition of civil cyber course, international students who are already studying in Geneva. Yes, of course, there are some conditions for this. You have to have the certification for the basic ICT or security certification, education for the examination. Later on, you will require to have minimum 2 years experience in IT field or cybersecurity field. That's the basic requirements. But if you start to work somehow today, you have time to gain this experience until the next exam date, which is next year. This year is already late because you have to have minimum 1 year education and certification for that. So this is our questions. There are also another interesting questions, Elcin. You have a position at the ISACA. Would you like to give us a little bit about this position or the mission at ISACA? What are you doing there?
For the Shilitsek, actually, I had different, when I started with ISACA in 2009, I was working, all the business relations was very different than what I'm now doing. It was more like engaging with the business parts, you know, highlighting the security, finding the interest for the business side. And also I was doing again this career path, you know, how can we engage more people, but it wasn't that time, I wasn't focusing gender diversity. And many years after I had the issue personally, then I decided to raise, you know, and help to this issue to at least, you know, maybe we cannot solve in one day, but at least help at some stage. So She Leads Tech Ambassador is actually, it's a good example today, for example, what I'm doing. I speak at conferences, or I speak at, you know, webinars or some events to encourage women, show them the opportunities, actually tell them that it's not really, it's not a boring field, it's a lot of fun and future proof, you know, telling the cyber security from my lenses. Because when I discovered that, it was already, I mean, it was really late, you know. I really struggled because I set the barrier so high. I was thinking that if you know, I'm an auditor, I need to know every aspect, you know, everything. You cannot really know everything. It's really wide, and you need to know. But knowing, it's very important that you need to be reliable and accountable. You cannot really fake it till have it in cybersecurity. You need to know the gaps you have. You need to know the skills that you need to gain, or the skills that you have, and when you are because when you're holding a role, then you can be successful and open with the people that you are working with. And yeah, this is but in She Leads Tech, it's being an ambassador to influence girls and women in cybersecurity. And ISACA, actually, I really recommend also the membership of ISACA, because they have a lot of you know, the access to resources, a lot of events, also webinars, and all the certifications, and they are evolving every year. New certifications are coming. It's also very, very helpful.
Thank you very much, Elcin. I think we are end of our time. And thank you very much all our audience today. You were online joining to us. And we have another webinars on next week and coming days. Also, Elcin is the chairwoman at Civil Cyber Forum for the diversity in cybersecurity. We are going to organize some events in near future in Zurich, or online events. You're welcome to join any of them anytime. Thank you very much, Elcin, again, and it was nice to see you, to hear you. and it was really very, very inspirational. We have also a lot of positive messages. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much, everyone. I will close that webinar right now. Have a nice day.